It's good to have you on African Free Press Television for the news at dusk. My name is Leo Oketa, and these are the stories we're tracking for you at this moment. New developments have emerged on how the presidency has plotted the removal of Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike from office. The tribunal judge who annulled Rivers State's governorship election held on April 14, 2015, Justice Suleiman Ambrosa, is reported to be an in-law to President Muhammadu Buhari. Justice Ambrosa is discovered to be in marital union with the younger sister of the president's wife, Aisha Buhari. The Supreme Court sitting in Abuja has dismissed an appeal brought before it by the Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike, challenging the territorial jurisdiction of the Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Abuja. Wike had appealed a decision of the Court of Appeal which earlier held that the tribunal's location was in order. In its ruling today, the 5 justices of the Supreme Court unanimously upheld the decision of the appeal court on the matter of jurisdiction. And meanwhile, the Oyo State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Ibadan, the state capital, has upheld the election of Senator Abiola Ajimobi as the governor of Oyo State. The tribunal dismissed the petition of the governorship candidate of the Accord Party in the election, Senator Rashidi Ladoja, saying it lacked merit. And a former Deputy Inspector General of Police, Chris Omeben, who investigated the murder of prominent Nigerian journalist Dele Giwa, has finally revealed that the major suspect in the saga was Kayode Soyinka, the man who sat with the late Giwa shortly before he was killed. Mr. Omeben, who spoke with the News Agency of Nigeria concerning his role in the investigation of Dele Giwa, the founding editor-in-chief of Newswatch magazine, killed by a parcel bomb 29 years ago, said his investigation was frustrated by powerful forces that refused to produce Kayode Soyinka for interrogation. Speaking in Abuja, youth president of Ojobo community, which hosts the Beniside oil field in Burutu local government area of Delta State, Mr. Sergeant Cinema, and a spokesperson of the community, Mr. Cletus Zokumo, has issued a 72-hour ultimatum to multinational oil grant Shell Petroleum Development Company to shut down all operations at the Beniside flow station or risk the consequences. The ultimatum is also included in the oil service firms like Saipem Contracting Nigerian Limited and EA Thermal Development Company. Mr. Cletus Zukumo explained that the ultimatum has become necessary as the oil companies have refused to implement various agreements reached with the community despite several peaceful attempts at resolving the issues. Such agreements were the failure of Shell Petroleum to perform its corporate social responsibilities by refusing to provide stable electricity to the community while the flow station has 24-hour power supply, refusal of Shell Petroleum to employ indigents of the community, and failure of SPDC to execute any tangible project in the community as contained in the Global Memorandum of Understanding. And the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria (FAN) has rejected a recent ranking which rated the Port Harcourt International Airport in Rivers State as the worst airport in the world. This was contained in a statement issued today in Lagos by Mr. Yakubu Dati, FAN's General Manager on Corporate Affairs. The ranking by sleepinginAirports.net rated the Port Harcourt International Airport as the dirtiest and most corrupt airport in Africa. FAN, in its statement, said the ranking was unfounded as it did not recognize the fact that the airport terminal was still undergoing remodeling while some of its terminal operations were being conducted in a temporary structure. And a military source has reported that no fewer than 3 civilians had died in northern Mali when the vehicle hit a lined mine. A second mine explosion also injured 2 UN peacekeepers who tried to rescue the civilians. Moreover, a statement by the UN mission in Mali has condemned the attack, noting that the incident occurred in the vicinity of the UN base at Tessalit in the region of Kidal. The explosions were the latest violence around Kidal, a stronghold of the rebel Azawad movements, dominated by ethnic Tuaregs. It would be recalled that in 2012, separatists seized northern Mali with support from militants linked to Al-Qaeda. And Tunisian authorities arrested 7 members of a jihadist cell suspected of recruiting militant youths in the northeastern region. The Tunisian Interior Ministry in a statement said the jihadists were being arrested for recruiting extremists online and encouraging them to join militants in war-torn Syria. The Interior Ministry, however, did not provide details of the affiliation. The International Criminal Court has requested that India should arrest and hand over Sudanese President Omar Hassan al-Bashir, who is wanted on genocide charges. Omar al-Bashir, with 40 other African leaders, is expected to visit New Delhi this week for the India-African Summit aimed at boosting trade and investment between the two regions. Bashir is accused of masterminding genocide, crimes against humanity, and war crimes in his campaign to crush a revolt in Sudan's western Darfur region. The tribunal based in Hague had issued warrants for his arrest in 2009 and 2010. And in sports, as the world awaits the final list of the FIFA presidential candidates to be unveiled, a former governor of Abia State, Orji Uzor has officially suspended his ambition to run for the FIFA presidency. Mr. Kalu, who made this known through a press statement, said he had chosen to concentrate on his business, even though he was humbled by the wide support his earlier plan to contest enjoyed. Following last Monday's deadline, Mr. Kalu acknowledged the support of President Muhammadu Buhari and other African presidents for their patriotic roles. And that's the news for you on African Free Press Television this evening. For more stories, please do log on to our websites at www.africanfreepress.com. Follow us on Twitter at African Free Press and like our Facebook page at African Free Press. Also subscribe to our YouTube page at African Free Press. On behalf of my producer and news editor Tasi Chiadikobi and the rest of the team in the studio this evening, it's a very good evening to you. Do enjoy the rest of your night.